me ask you something. It is 2022, and I know you have a dream. And I know this dream, you have been carrying it down for several years. And this year, you are so determined to make it come to pass. But will it? What is your dream for 2022? Is it to start a new business? Is it to go into a new job? Is it to find a job for the first time? Is it to grow in the career you are already in? Is it to get into a relationship, maybe get married? Is it to lose some weight? Is it to quit a bad habit that you have been addicted to, maybe drinking, smoking, anything that you want to stop? There is something I want to tell you today, that it does not matter how much you're going to think about stopping it or starting it or continuing doing it. It does not matter how much you wish for it. It does not matter how much you dream about it. It also does not matter how much you talk about it. What will deliver real results in your life is taking action. And in this video, I want to give you 5 tips to help you learn to take action and take action now. Hello and welcome. My name is Mary Karuga from Tevre Consulting, where we inspire, equip, and support you to grow. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to this channel for weekly videos on personal growth and development. So when we talk about action, what are we talking about? Action is the ability to wake up and do something, whereas its opposite is inaction. And inaction is the inability to wake up and do something. Failure to take action when action is needed. Inaction may include things like refusing to make a decision or to make a choice when a choice is needed. It may include the failure to wake up and leave oppressive situations. And it also includes the inability to change. Inaction is actually a disease and it can be cured. And just like any other disease, inaction has its own symptoms. So you can check yourself today if you're suffering from it. The number one thing to check is whether you are living your life in an autopilot mode. An autopilot mode means that you are not consciously trying to change the circumstances of your life. You are comfortable where you are. You wake up every day, do the same thing that you have always done, in the same way you have always done it, even if it does not deliver you any results. You stay in the same situation day in, day out. Yes, you can see this is not where I want to be, but you're not doing anything to improve that situation. That is what we call living on autopilot mode. Sometimes you're waiting for someone else to come and push you around, to tell you what to do today and what not to do. You are not consciously designing your day or your life. The number 2 symptom that you're suffering from inaction is actually being stuck. There are people who start something, but you reach a point and you feel like you're totally stuck, like you don't know what next. You don't know the next step to take. That means that you are afraid to take an action. And that is also a good indicator that you're suffering from inaction. Number 3 symptom is that you don't want to leave your comfort zone. You are so comfortable where you are. Yes, things are not working and you don't like where you are, but you are not waking up to change. You fear change. Comfort zones are places where we feel safe and there is no threat and there is nothing bad that can happen to us. And we like staying there. Even if the circumstances there may be requiring a big change, you feel so comfortable there and you don't want to get to unknown. You don't want to involve in any uncertainties. That is also a disease. Because if your life have to change, you need to take an action. And taking a new action is always uncomfortable. So if you're not willing to leave your comfort zone, then you will never achieve your dreams. Before we learn about how to take action, allow me to tell you a short story from our village. It is about 2 brothers who came from an averagely well-off family. But these brothers always had rivalry amongst themselves. The older brother always believed he was better than the younger brother. And of course he was. He was performing very well in school. He had a lot of friends and he was famous and he had so many talents. He could sing well, he could do things well, he could draw, he could impress people. And even the parents were so impressed with him. But the younger brother was struggling even with his education. When they did their KCPE, the older brother performed very well and of course got an admission in a very good high school. He finished, he went to college, he even went abroad and studied medicine and came back and got a job as a doctor. Meanwhile, the younger brother was struggling a lot with his education. He was always coming last or amongst the 10 bottom last people in class. He was not famous, he didn't even have friends. Even when he did his KCPE, he failed. And he only got a chance to join a small day school in the village. He struggled with education for 2 years and eventually he decided education may not be his thing. So he quit and he stopped schooling. He went back home and started farming. After a few years, since he didn't have much to do in the village anyway, he married a young woman and they started their family together. Around that time, the older brother had gotten a good job with a big hospital in the country and he was earning good money. And because he despised his younger brother so much, he one day came and snatched his wife and went with this girl to the city and he made her his wife. And life continued. But one day, after several years of working in the hospital, this guy was found with a very huge scandal and he was fired. When he was fired and went back home, because of his pride and his ego, he was unable to do anything else with his life. He remained in the house. He tried applying for big jobs, but he couldn't get any because his reputation was already tarnished. For 3 years, the wife was doing everything in the house. She was providing for him. She used to do small manual jobs to even get food for the family. But after 3 years, she got very tired because the husband could keep on telling her how he had been to a good interview and now he has hope that he's going to get that job. And it was a promise after promise after promise, but no results. And when she tried to encourage her to get out of the house and try any job, he refused because his ego could not allow him. He would rather sleep in the house and sing of his past glory, how he studied in America, how he had all these degrees, and how big he thought he was. He used to cite his brother and say, "I cannot go back to the village and live the life that my brother." As you can guess, when this guy was left by his wife, he couldn't survive in Nairobi. He had to go back home. And even there, he couldn't manage to survive in that environment because he was not used to working hard or taking action by himself. He continued sleeping, idling around and waiting for things to change. But of course, nothing could change until he took action. His mother tried to help, even tried to start some farming businesses for him. She tried even to put up a small shop for him, but he was not used to working hard. So eventually, he couldn't do anything. He actually started abusing drugs and looking for ways to pass time because he had nothing to do. Meanwhile, his younger brother was already doing very well in Nairobi. What happened is that when this older brother snatched his wife, he got very tired of those situations. He got very fed up with that family and seeing that even his parents didn't try to fight for him, he just woke up and left the family and came to the city. When he reached there, he didn't have anything to do. So he joined a group of young boys who could go around the estates collecting some old metals and reselling them. And that was his first job in Nairobi. But as he was reselling, he was not like the other guys. He was very determined to change his life. So every time he sold, he could keep aside some money. And when he had enough, he approached the people whom he was selling metal scraps to and asked whether he can be given a job in that company because he wanted to learn how this metal is recycled. And because they had seen how hard he worked on his job, they took him in and he learned. Within only 3 years, he was able to open up his own plant, recycling the same metal and making the same metal rods as the one from the company he was employed in. And now he was doing very well. He had even gotten another wife and gotten another family. One day, he decided to go to say hi to his family back at home. And upon reaching, they were very shocked to see the kind of car he came with, his beautiful wife and his children, and the kind of shopping he brought to his family. The older brother was very ashamed even to look directly at his eyes, knowing all the bad things he had done to him when they were growing up, and also the fact that he snatched his wife. But the younger brother was not concerned about everything. He just wanted to say hi to the family and check on how they are doing, and of course show them that everything worked well for him, even if they never thought that that could happen. When he shared his story with the family, the mother begged him so much to go with his older brother and give him a job. But the younger brother, knowing whom his brother was and that he cannot rise up to become anyone, he refused, but he said he will be sending them some money. If they get something to do in the village, he will support the idea and he'll be there for them. Now as we talk, the older brother depends 100% on the younger brother, and even the whole family, his mother, his father, and the other siblings, they depend on this guy who seemed like no one when they were growing up. So what can we learn from this story? Number one is that for you to take action and actually change your life, you have to get sick and tired of your current situation. This younger brother could have accepted to remain where he was and have his older brother always take the good things from him and belittle him and talk bad about him, and also have the parents see him as if he was ashamed to the family. But he reached a point when he decided enough is enough. This is the day I have to wake up and move out from this family and go look for my own life. And that is the day when fortunes changed for him. And that is the same thing for us. As long as you are tolerating something, you will never change it. You only change what you cannot tolerate. So if you are living in bad situation, maybe you are living in poverty, maybe you are living in an abusive relationship, or maybe you are in a bad job that you have been thinking of leaving. Until you get fed up of that situation, you will never change it. You will never take action to change it. And what you need to know is that your success lives on the other side of you taking action. So what you need to do is ask yourself some of these questions. Up to when will I live like this? Why am I still here with all these problems? And do I want to find myself in this same situation 5 years from now? Those questions will jumpstart your journey to taking action. Some other questions you can continue asking yourself is questions like, what can I do today to change this situation? And then weigh your options. What do I get if I took the action versus if I don't take the action? What pain am I going through now? And what small pleasures am I getting now? And what will happen if I moved? What pain will I experience and what pleasure will I experience? Then decide which one is better, to remain here or to move ahead, or to take an action and move ahead. Tip number 2 is that you have to make your goal a must, not a should, not an I will, but I must achieve this goal. Until you have that kind of an attitude, you'll never do what is necessary to make you achieve your dreams. When I was starting my self-development journey, one lesson I was so happy to learn is that everyone in this life gets their musts, but people rarely get their shoulds. That is why you find even the poorest of the poorest, they still manage to eat daily. Otherwise, they could be dead. How do they eat? Because that is a must for them. For some people who are a bit well up, they may say, I don't have capital to start a business. But you find the same people, they afford to go out every Friday and spend around 2,000, 5,000 every Friday. At the same time, they eat well at home and they live in a relatively well-off place. They can afford that because that is their must. But because they have made starting a business a should, They say, I should start a business this month. I should start a business next year. I should do that. Whenever it is a should, you will never achieve it. Everybody achieves their must. There is this story about one master and his student. One day, the student asked the master, "Master, what can I do to get successful in life?" And the master answered him, "Are you sure you want to know that?" And he said, "Yes, I want to know that." The master told him, "If you want to know that, tomorrow morning, 4 a.m., meet me at the beach and I'll tell you how you can get successful." The young man was very perplexed. "What do you mean go to the beach? I don't want to swim. I want to get successful." And the master insisted, "Yes, come down there and you will learn how to get successful there." The following day, the young man was so energetic, he woke up very early and he ran to the beach, waiting to be shown how to get successful. When the master arrived, he told him, "I'm happy to see you here. It seems you really want to learn how to be successful. So do this. Can you remove your clothes and join me? We are going for a swim." So the student removed his clothes and he followed his master. And as they were going deeper and deeper and deeper, the young man was so worried and was wondering, what is the master trying to do to me? Does he want me to drown? And they went inside until a point where the water was up to the chest. And the master hurriedly grabbed the young man by the head and pushed him down inside the water and held him there forcefully. And this young man was trying to scream and throw his hands up, trying to get out of the water. But the master kept on pushing him down. Eventually, he let him go. And when he let him go, the young man ran back to the shore and was complaining, "You want to kill me, you want to kill me. Is that the lesson you want to teach me?" And the master told him, "Calm down, young man. That was the lesson today. Let me ask you, when you were down there, what did you want most?" And the young man said, "Air. I wanted to breathe so much." And the master replied, "You see, that is your lesson. That is how you get successful. Until you want success as much as you wanted to breathe under that water, you will never achieve success." And the master rested the case. When he went back home, he couldn't get that thought out of himself, that for me to succeed, I have to want it as much as I wanted to breathe under the water. So that means despite what barrier I face, I have to always break through. I have to work on myself. I have to work hard until I gain the success I am looking for. And as the story goes, this man currently is one of the richest men in the world. And the same case now applies to you. How much do you want that success? How much do you want to change your situation? Until you want it as much as that man wanted, until you need it the way you need air today, you will never achieve it. That means you have to rise up above all challenges and work towards your goal. That marks the end of our part A of this video. The other 3 tips are covered in part B of this video. There is a link to that in the description section of this video. Please do not miss out on that. Click the link and continue watching. Thank you.